Northern Britain, autumn, AD 430.
Get down! The slingers are attacking!
There was a horrific rattling as dozens of stones battered against the wall, and the defending Damnoni soldiers crouched low to avoid being struck. A slinger's missile could do severe damage if it hit someone in the right place, as a few of the men had discovered to their cost during the previous days.
Now!
Garvo roared as the attack ended without injury of any of the defenders.
Give them some back!
Instantly, his men stood up and launched a volley of their own fist-sized rocks down onto the enemy below. The captain grinned as cries of anger and pain filtered up to him. It was much easier to hit people when they were beneath you, especially when they didn't have walls to hide behind. Not all of the enemy slingers were crouching under their shields, though, and a sharp-edged flat rock careered past Garvo, hammering into the neck of a young soldier at his side. The warrior reeled back. A terrible gurgling sound came from his ruined, bloody throat as he dropped onto the wooden platform they were standing on, and Garvo knew the lad would be dead within moments. Thank the gods, though, the enemy were taking casualties of their own beneath the hail of Damnoni missiles, and the besieging army pulled back now, out of range, heralding another in a long line of standoffs.
That's it!
Garvo shouted in fury.
Run, you bastards!
Dumbretaine, ancient capital of Outclotter, was under siege, and had been for almost a week. The Picts from the far north, led by King Drest, having finally grown tired of the attacks on their raiding parties by King Coroticus' soldiers. For generations, livestock theft from neighboring tribes was an accepted part of life, part of a young warrior's coming of age. Unwritten rules made it clear that any captured during such an action could be beaten, but then sent on their way home to try again another day. Now, though, Coroticus, outraged by his daughter Catia's recent abduction, was slaughtering every such raider he could find in his lands and displaying their severed heads as ghoulish trophies. Warnings on the towering rock of Dumbretaine. It wasn't just Pictish thieves suffering such violence either. Dariardans, Selgovai, and Votadini tribesmen had all been killed by the Damnoni king's forces. In response, Drest had formed an alliance with the other kings and led them here for vengeance. To Queen Nerina, it was a ludicrous situation to be in. A war started over the execution of a few cattle thieves. Yet her husband had broken with tradition, despite her protestations, and now Outclotter was paying the price. Standing high on the eastern peak of the fortress, she looked away from the guard captain Garvo, commanding the defending warriors on the walls, and turned her attention to the tents, cooking fires, and massed, undisciplined ranks of the enemy camping at the foot of her home. Standing 240 feet high and surrounded on three sides by the river Clotter, Dumbretaine had never been taken by a besieging army. The queen shook her head sadly and turned to her maidservant Anika, whose downcast expression mirrored her own.
"They're wasting their time,"
Anika muttered, shifting her gaze back to the tiny figures on the ground so far below them.
"King Drest must have known that when he was embarked on this foolish course."
Nerina didn't answer for a while. She could see Drest's tent, grander and more colourful than the others surrounding it, and she wondered what was going through his mind at that moment.
"I don't think their siege is foolish," the queen said. "Coroticus pushed them all too far, and they're within their rights to strike back. Besides, they might say they're here to avenge their dead warriors, but there's more to it than that. Drest and Lorne in particular would like to make our lands their own. This is merely their first move towards that end." "They'll never take this place, my lady,"
Anika said, and her voice was full of conviction.
"We have fresh water from the spring that comes between the two peaks, and enough men to rebuff any attempts to scale the gatehouses. Food is plentiful too, since your husband stockpiled it when we heard of the approaching army."
Anika was correct in her assessment, and Nerina wondered if the woman surreptitiously listened at Coroticus' door when he met with his advisors. It wouldn't surprise her. Anika was a canny servant, which was why Nerina liked her.